Welcome to another Impact Drive Time presentation, a value-added feature designed to help you increase your bottom line from Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated. GFA is striving to provide our partners the synergy, support, and motivation needed to achieve their maximum potential. Go to www.gfainvestments.com or call 888-939-9714 to find out how you can be part of the winning team of Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated. Now sit back and enjoy as Gateway Financial Advisors presents another Impact Drive Time presentation to help you increase your bottom line.
Welcome to another Drive Time Impact Gateway podcast designed to help you increase your bottom line. I'm Shane Westholter, the CEO and founder of Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated and Gateway Insurance Group Incorporated. And at Gateway Insurance and Financial Services, we help you take the if out of life so you can live. I have with me today a very special guest, Mary Hanson, a financial advisor with the Gateway Network. She also is a certified financial planner. So, Mary, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Shane. Appreciate being here.
So as we get started, one of the common questions that we typically ask is we want you to begin by sharing with all of our listeners a little about yourself, personal background, maybe something about your childhood. And one question we ask all of our guests is, what's one thing you are proud that you have accomplished before your age 25?
Okay. Well, my basic background is that I was born in and grew up in Silicon Valley. And I think that still is a kind of an underpinning of my life to this day. My education was not too far away. It was in the Sacramento area at Cal State Sacramento, where I got my degree in business. My childhood was, I would say, fairly normal. I'm old enough that was back in the days when, kids came in, when they'd holler it was dinner time, and then we went back out and we'd play on the streets until it got dark and then went home. So it was a fun time. And in terms of what I'm most proud of as an early adult, or actually even a teenager, I was assistant manager of a Baskin-Robbins, which was a pretty good job for a 19-year-old. A lot of people worked in fast food. I worked around ice cream. We got to eat as much of it as we want, which was nice. And I was the assistant manager who ran the shop when the owners were on vacation. Very
cool. Kind of tough to work around ice cream all day and not put on the pounds, I'm sure. But as a teenager, it's much easier than certainly as an adult. So what's...
Make an addict for life.
Totally. So what is something unique that maybe no one actually knows about you that you'd be willing to share? Maybe a hidden talent or something that you accomplished, something maybe unique to give us a little insight on who Mary Hanson is.
I don't know. It doesn't speak to a talent, but one of the parts of my story that I like is that I am a sixth generation San Franciscan. And I cheat a little bit on that because I was born in San Jose, but pretty close. But my dad's great whatever grandfather, Uncle Kitty, came from Ireland. It was a dangerous trip, but he figured he would starve for sure if he stayed there during the potato famine. So he came and mined for gold. Didn't get rich, but made enough money to start a business in San Francisco. And from there runs the family lineage on my dad's side.
Very interesting. So had a family member that started off mining for gold. Is that what you said, in the mines?
Exactly. Yeah, he was up in the foothills with pan and whatever else they used, kind of primitive tools. Yeah, he was a gold miner.
Very nice. Well, how did you go from obviously, working at Baskin-Robbins and get some education and background and so forth, and then how did you end up in the financial service industry? What really attracted you to be in the business that we're in today, or maybe what happened, your personal story? What happened between high school, college, and where we are today?
When I graduated from college, I went to work for a large corporation. Did that for about 8 years. I had some good jobs. I was essentially a project manager. They didn't call me that, but that was the work that I did. But I decided I was not a good corporate person. Not that corporations are bad, but you're doing one little tiny bit of a big job, and it was hard to feel a sense of accomplishment. So one of the things I'd done in college, it was work part-time for a couple of realtors. Was always interested in the real estate business, got my license, and eventually got recruited into the residential real estate world, which is where I worked for quite a long time. I think it was about 17 years. But along the way, I met with a friend of mine who was a financial advisor, just to chat with him about what retirement might look like down the road. And he said to me, you'd be pretty good at doing this. and you have your MBA and you're good with numbers and you're friendly. And I said, yeah, I would be, but I'm happy as a realtor. So this was in the, I think, 2000-ish time frame. But he planted a seed, and sure enough, 5 years later, I decided that, you know what, being a financial advisor would be a great career. It would make use of my previous background in the corporate world, and also as a real estate agent, and I'd done some work with investors. And to take that to the next level, real estate is, at least in California, a very important part of a person's assets and net worth. But to take that to the bigger picture of money and life. So I've had 3 great careers. This is my last one, and I'm having fun with it.
Very nice. So yeah, that makes total sense. So was this person a mentor to you, or was there an influential person who maybe made a lasting impression on you, whether it's financial related or not, maybe a coach or something like that, that said, here's what's going to inspire me to be the best that I can be in life and be a success?
So the person who recruited me was a mentor of sorts in the business. I've had a couple of other mentors along the way. One person in particular from the time I was at MetLife, as far as business mentors. In terms of a life mentor or an influential person in my life, I think I would have to say my grandmother. This is on my mom's side. We called her Bunny because she didn't like her real name. She lived to 98. She was healthy till about 95. She worked until she was well into her 80s as a bookkeeper, accountant. She did taxes, but she worked on her terms. She would tell her clients, hey, I'm out of here for 5 weeks, and call me when you get back, other than in tax season. But she's the lady who inspired me in business and also in life to don't sweat the little things. And when the big battles come, dig out your sword and go fight the fight.
Wow, that's pretty inspiring. So I guess that leads into the next question I would have for you, and that's kind of, what is your primary why? What is it that drives you every day? Why do you get up and do what you do? It might be related professionally. It may not be. Is there a why in your life that causes you to get up every day?
Yeah, there is. And the why in terms of business is helping my clients worry less about money. I've seen so much of that over the years, where people stress about having not enough, or maybe too much, they think, or they don't understand what's going on with their finances. And so if I can see or hear a client sigh like, it's going to be okay. I have one set of good clients who tell me, we see you every 6 months or so, just so you can tell us that, yeah, we're okay. And so that's my business why. Personal why is to have enough resources of my own to not only be comfortable, but to do some travel, to be able to give back to my community, to be involved with my church, basically to benefit the lives of other people, which I guess flows back to the business part too of how do I make my world and the lives of other people around me a better place.
Yeah, and you've been, like I said, you've been part of the Gateway family for a while. We always talk about taking the if out of life. What if I live? What if I linger? What if I leave? What's my legacy? Protecting people's assets, protecting their income, and then talking about always providing that dignity. And I know that's, resonates with a lot of clients. It resonates with all of our advisors, and you do a really good job at helping people find that way in life and doing comprehensive planning. Your practice is in Northern California. I know you work, San Ramon, Pleasanton, Walnut Creek, but, really probably all of Northern California from that perspective. What I want to do, Mary, is take a break. And when we come back from our commercial break, we will talk about your focus in business, maybe your approach on meeting with clients, what makes it kind of unique, and how you do your planning compared to, say, the advisor across the street from you. So again, my guest today is Mary Hanson. She is a certified financial planner in the Northern California area, but with today's technology, we can service clients pretty much anywhere that we're licensed to do business, and we are licensed in all 50 states. So thank you for staying with us. We'll be back shortly.
I'm April Lynn Chavez Geisler, the first Executive Vice President of Gateway Insurance Group. At Gateway, we specialize in finding great insurance for our clients. Partnering with Gateway means that your clients are taken care of. We are in constant communication with our clients, and we want to find partners that give the same great service that we give. If you're at the top of your game and you have aspirations to grow your business in a good way, we want you as our referral partner. We want partners who give the same great service that we give. We partner with only the best of the best. We spend time drumming up business with our clients so that we can refer them to others who can best take care of their needs. We are able to uncover their ever-changing needs and finding the partners who can best take care of those needs. Looking for the best of the best is very important to us, and working together with our shared clients is a win-win for everybody, especially the client. We love connecting our clients with centers of influence, but what we get really excited about is connecting centers of influence with other centers of influence so that they can continue a prosperous relationship. We expect that when you're looking for the best solution for your clients, that you will refer Gateway because the price is competitive, claims are paid, and we're there to take care of them when they need to be taken care of. Gateway makes excellence a priority, and we hope that you will too.
All right, well, welcome back from our break. Again, my guest today is Mary Hanson, a certified financial planner in Northern California. Mary, let's talk a little bit about your main focus in business. Is there a special area, whether that's wealth management or insurance planning, life, long-term care, disability, health insurance, anything that you want to focus on, or are you pretty much a general practitioner? Tell me a little bit about your practice specifically.
You could qualify me as a general practitioner because I do a little bit of most things. There's a few areas that I refer out, i.e. Health insurance, Medicare planning, those types of things. But I would say that my primary practice does revolve around what they call wealth management, and that's investing for goals, investing for the future, but also incorporating risk management, as you mentioned, the what-ifs in life, and those apply to what-ifs that probably need a look at some insurance protection, or at least covering the things that happen that we don't necessarily want to happen. But there's also the good ifs of what if you live a long time? You know, how do you, like grandma, you're 98 years old, you still want to have money in your account. And then risk management. There's the risk reward equation, and you can get lots of reward if you take lots of risk, but at some point, is that too much? And that changes with each client, but it's looking at those issues. So that's the wealth management part, but I also call it the planning part, because planning is ongoing. It's separate from any specific account or insurance policy. It's looking at that big picture view, and that's really important, and that's probably the part that I like the best, is the comprehensive planning.
Yeah, and again, I think that's important because, you know, the unexpected does happen, right? We plan for a long future and all the good things in life, whether that means having enough money to enjoy retirement or travel in my later years or leave money behind to charities or things that are important to us individually. But then also, just like we're experiencing now in the times that we're in, where the unexpected could happen and where job layoffs happen, illness or sickness come into play, maybe a car accident. And I think it's important that we make sure that, you know, as we're doing that planning, what if something happens that's unexpected? Are we prepared for that? So in your approach, when you're talking to clients, how do you engage them to be interested in what it is that you're sharing or that you're suggesting? If I were to sit down with you and say, you know, Mary, I'm not sure if I have enough money, you know, I got a few more years of work left. What would be your general approach with me as a client to engage me into your practice, your services?
Well, the approach would be a discovery appointment. So let's assume you and I are sitting together, or maybe nowadays it's a Zoom meeting with a new prospective client. We would do a discovery appointment that allows us to learn about each other, figure out if and how we want to work together. You know, Shane, what is it that you want to accomplish? What are your goals? What keeps you up at night or makes you worry? What do you think you've done well? And where are you today and where do you want to be? And then, of course, we take a look at the resources you have in hand, and let's try to put those two together. Here's what you want your life to look like, and here's what your current resources are, and here's what they could be, and how are we going to go about getting there? So at the end of the discovery appointment, we might decide that maybe we're not a match. Maybe we want to work together, but not now, maybe later. Maybe we do want to work together on either situational concerns or projects, or we might be doing comprehensive planning where we scope out the rest of your life. So all of that is decided mutually by myself and the new client at the discovery session. And that session generally takes a while. It's probably 90 minutes. There's no cost to it. It's a let's get to know each other. Let's figure out where we want to go from here.
Very nice. And then from there, I would assume that, you gather the data and then you have professional software that can help people actually, do that type of planning and, of course, oversight, maybe some portfolio recommendations and so forth. That's your background. So I would assume you have all that kind of software. If someone was to say, hey, Mary, I want you to be my financial professional, you certainly have the tools and resources.
I do. And as I tease my clients, I say, I'm much smarter with helping you plan life. The software is much smarter at crunching the numbers. You need both. You need the human touch. There's some in our world who think, the computer can do everything. And I don't subscribe to that because you still need that human planning. But software and number crunching certainly is much better done by the computer. So we do both.
So what would be a unique sales position, I guess, or a proposition from your perspective? In other words, what I'm asking is if I say, okay, well, I appreciate everything that you're sharing and the process sounds great. What makes you different from the financial advisor maybe sitting across the street in your location?
If you ask me that question, I would say it's my holistic approach that I am, as we talked about, a bit of the generalist. I'm a big picture person. I like to look at the entirety of a client situation. Somebody comes in and wants me to analyze their account. I won't, a specific account, I won't do that. I'll say, no, we need to look at your big picture. So it's the holistic approach. I think if you were to ask clients of mine what makes me different, I'm a teacher. I've been teased about my whiteboard and the scribbling on it, but in a nice way that I teach them. I take the time to discuss the pros and cons of any strategy, because every strategy in the world does have upsides and potential downsides. And so at the end of the day, they understand what their alternatives are. They understand the pluses and minuses, and they can make an informed decision. And there's some advisors out there, not that this is bad, but they tell the client, this is what you should do, and end of story. And I don't. I say, here's your alternatives. Here's the things to look at. What do you think?
I think the education part, I want to talk about that just a little bit more. You said earlier that you also had some corporate background or, big business, if we will say. So do you work with everyone, or do you look more at maybe executives, middle management? And how does that background from working in corporate play into what you were just saying? You're teaching, you're educating, you're really wanting to help people understand what it is they're doing and maybe why they're doing it. So give me some background from that corporate side, or who are the clients you're looking for?
So the clients that I'm looking for would be similar to the clients I have now, and they are not necessarily the top executives. They're what I call the busy professionals. They're the engineers, the project managers, the director of marketing. I also have a couple of professionals in the medical industry, therapists, physical therapists, and positions like that. And I have a fair number of self-employed clients, realtors, mortgage brokers, others who are 1099. So I think that all ties in with my background. In terms of, you asked about the corporate, I don't know that necessarily impacts their planning in general, although it is helpful to understand specifics. Somebody may have stock options. They may have other benefits that are important in the planning process. And I also understand corporate culture, which obviously can be very different from company to company. So the things that they have working in their favor, and sometimes the frustrations that they can have being in that world. Ditto for the self-employed. They have more freedom, but they also don't have a nice package of benefits. So all of that gets incorporated in the plan. That's where my background of having been in 3 different worlds is helpful.
Yeah, I would agree. And it sounds like, again, if I walk in and I'm one of those clients that says, hey, I've got this benefit package at work, and or I have this much income as a self-employed, I'm trying to minimize my taxes. What's going to happen if I leave this company? What's going to happen to my benefits? Do I get to keep them? Maybe I just got laid off or furloughed or downsized or whatever. I maybe want to meet with you and say, do you have any advice for me? What would be your recommendations? And I think, not only from a financial professional background, but maybe from the corporate background, that could be some value that you could bring to the conversation.
Yeah, I think it definitely brings value to the conversation. And understanding the psychology of it also. I just got laid off, and I've dealt with that with clients, is that can be a scary story. Even if they just got laid off with a 6-month parachute, it still is scary. It's a time of transition in life. But I think that's where, not just me, I think that's where our industry has the opportunity to really shine. To say, hey, let me take your hand, figuratively, and walk you and your family through this.
I agree with that so much. I think, a lot of people like to go on the internet and do some of their own research, maybe become self-educated, and there's nothing wrong with that. I certainly am a proponent myself of, looking at things, doing some research before I go meet with someone, or even after I've met with someone, whether that means, replacing windows in my home or buying a new car, or maybe even doing financial planning. But with that being said, at the end of the day, I'm still one of those people that believe, and I think many people are, that I want to be able to talk to a professional, get the true, honest, correct advice, maybe ask the questions that I couldn't find in my research, and then have that, if nothing else, have that relationship. So when I'm doubting, what's really going to happen to these markets, and with the news media around me every day and all the negativity, are you sure I'm going to be okay? And I would assume that's where I could reach out to you, Mary, as a financial professional. You're going to take that phone call and help walk me through those emotional concerns as well as the intellectual understanding.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing that I think I do pretty well and that people appreciate is when they ask a question, I'm going to give them an honest answer. It may not be what they want to hear, but it's not going to be sugar-coated. It's going to be, here's the reality as I see it. And that over time builds trust. It's like I could ask Mary a question, and I'm going to get a straight answer, or at least I'm going to get, her opinion, her educated opinion, and know that she's not silver lining it. It's the reality, and I can proceed accordingly.
That is so important, especially in the world that we're living currently. But it's always important, because honesty is the best policy, as they say. And I think, just being truthful with our clients, especially in the area of financial planning, and when we're trying to figure out, what is our livelihood as we go forward. Mary, it's been great having you on the podcast. How do the listeners get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to find you? Via the internet, if they want to, Google, do some research on you before they call, and then also, obviously, how do they directly get in contact with you?
Okay, so direct contact, we'll do the usual website, www.h.hws Financial, that's Horizon Wealth Solutions, is my company and part of the Gateway family. So hwsfinancial.com. Email is maryh@hwsfinancial.com. And phone number, we'll use cell phone nowadays because I'm like the rest of the world. I'm basically working at home. So that number is area code 925-785-1415. Again, 785-1415. And any of those resources will allow you to get in contact with me. In terms of reviews and whatnot, that tends to be kind of minimal in our industry. But I would encourage you to ask around. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I'm known. I'm a CFP, Certified Financial Planner. You can find me on their website. I've been nominated the last 3 or 4 years as a 5-star professional, so you can find information about me there. I'm not afraid to have you check me out. It's important when working with a financial professional. It's almost as personal as working with your doctor. So you want somebody you trust, you feel good about, you feel connected with.
Couldn't agree more. Again, Mary Hanson with Horizon Wealth Solutions. That's Horizon Wealth Solutions. She is a certified financial planner and is located there in Northern California. But as she says, we can work with pretty much anyone virtually today through Zoom meetings and Facebook Lives and things of that nature. So website again, www.hwsfinancial.com. So Mary, again, thank you so much for being on the broadcast. Thank you for being a partner with Gateway Financial Advisors as well. And anything that you would like to share as your closing comments?
Well, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do this interview, have this conversation. I always enjoy conversations with you. And of course, this is interview style, so it's a little more formal, but it's fun to talk about the business that we're in, and fun to get some of that information out to the world. Last comment, and you alluded to this, Shane, was that I am based in the East Bay, Northern California, but am licensed in various states, mostly because I follow my clients there. And so particularly with technology, Zoom, etc., geography doesn't necessarily need to be an issue.
Again, reach out to Mary Hanson. Thank you, Mary, for being on the podcast. Horizon Wealth Solutions. And again, the phone number to contact her would be 925-785-1415. This will wrap up our Gateway podcast. Again, thank you for joining us with another Drive Time Impact Gateway podcast designed to help you increase your bottom line. Thank you for listening to our Gateway podcast. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated and Cambridge Investment Research are not affiliated.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed this program. GFA is focused on being a one-stop shop for full financial planning. To get more information about how you can join and be part of this winning team, go to www.gfainvestments.com or call us at 888-939-9714. Once again, our website is www.gfainvestments.com, or you can contact us at 888-939-9714. This has been a presentation of Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated. And remember, focus on your maximum potential.